Hello everyone, Narelle Warcon here from Queensland, Australia. I decided that I would come on and do a recording for now, just to share a little about who I am, where I've been, where I'm going. So I just wanted to share this with you. I want to pop on and start doing lives, but I found that, my introductory about who I am may take a little bit long for people who actually don't want to listen to me, or for listen to me for too long. So here I am to explain a little bit about who I am. So I am Narelle Warcon, as I said, from Queensland, Australia. I really have got so much that I'd like to share, but I'll try and break it down into segments so that it doesn't go on for too long. So part of who I am is come from where I have been. As we all know, part of life is a big journey, and some of us have it not so easy. Some of us have it a little bit easier. So I was born into a family of one boy and six girls. My mum and dad have both passed, and my brother has passed. So there were six of us girls left. I am a mum of three children and a grandmother to one beautiful granddaughter, whom I'm very, very proud of. Now, part of my journey in life, I suppose, is coming through, and I have written a book about my life, my autobiography called Blonde Roots. It's more of a journey to share with people about where I have come from through sexual, physical, and mental abuse. And boy, was that a journey. And writing the book had me in tears many times, because to write it the way that I have, with it, the emotion that it needed, I had to relive the experiences in my life. Not always an easy thing to do, because you feel as you get older that once you've sort of dealt with something, then it's gone. But the thing is, I've noticed in life that we don't always deal with these things, and particularly as women, we tend to push them down, shove them to the background, under the carpet, whatever you want to call it, but you don't actually deal with it, bring it up and release it. So my journey through sexual, physical, and mental abuse was not an easy journey. It was something that I suppose as I got older, I started to look back and think, why did I make those decisions? What was it about my life that, had me making those choices that I made at those times? Now, hindsight is a wonderful thing, and you can look back and go, oh, now I understand. Now, I always say that God knows your first breath and God knows your last breath. And in between there, we call it life. Now, what we do with our life is really our choices, or our choice in life. And sometimes we don't always make the right choices. It can come from things handed down, information. I was born into a Christian family. I love the Lord now more than I ever have in my life, even though he has been a big part of my life. But, we look at life and we look at it differently through different eyes as we go through different stages of our life. I had what I would call, I had been looking for love in all the wrong places, because what I found later on in life is that I didn't love who I was. And I felt that I needed validation. I needed to be loved. I just want somebody to love me for who I was. And that's okay. We can go about things and, make those choices in life. And sometimes we have to backtrack. Sometimes we go forward. Sometimes we get out of that situation and we step right back into it because we're afraid. Fear is a horrible thing to live with in your life when you're too scared to make choices that go against maybe a religion, maybe go against, your own parents' belief and things like that. Now, I'm not I never blame anybody, you know, because I do believe that when you're born into this world and you start to make choices in this world as a young adult and then into middle age and then into older age, that those choices are with the knowledge that you know. You know, I think there's a quote that says, you know, you make the choices around what you know now, and when you know more, then you can make different choices. So I just wanted to share a little bit about who I am. I was a florist for many years. I had 2 florist shops. I love flowers. Used to love designing work and things like that. I think it's something that was handed down perhaps by my mum, who loved flowers. She loved growing flowers. And she also worked with me when I had my florist shops. And I have very talented sisters that can do many things, whether it be crafts or sewing, you know, just talented in their own special way. So having my children, I had a major surgery at the age of 21. I was told that I was not a well person inside and that it was like opening a dead person. Now, I don't know what that means, but certainly not something you want to hear at the age of 21. But I was, like I said, not very well inside as far as my women's parts go. And the doctors told me later that when they opened me up, they found I had adhesions growing everywhere, which takes major surgery to remove them. And I had had previous surgeries prior to this where I had 8 cysts removed off my right tube. And I don't want to go into this too deeply. However, what they did tell me was that they fed antibiotics into the wound and sewed me up and told me I had a 5% chance of ever having any children. So that was really upsetting for me. I had come from a large family. And of course, part of God's word says that you should go out there, get married and multiply and have children. So it was a little bit disappointing and saddened me. So that was at the age of 21. The age of 23, I had my son, Shannon. And I was so damn excited. You know, I was pregnant. It wouldn't have mattered whether the father was around or not, but he decided to go back to his ex-girlfriend, which he had been seeing even though he was dating me. So you go through these things. We ended that relationship when I was 3 months pregnant. So I went on to be a single mum. And my son was born 13 weeks premature, weighed 1 pound 12, heart surgery, collapsed lung, 5 blood transfusions, you name it. He went through it and I was all alone. And that can be a battle. I had my parents there, but I was rushed to Brisbane from another town, Gympie, and I was then stayed in Brisbane to be with my son, who I visited daily. I stayed with a dear aunt and uncle who lived in Brisbane, and I went and visited my son every day. They told me that, look, the emotions of having a premature baby, the ups and downs of the medical side of things. He was ventilated. He was on oxygen. And they told me at two months old, when he was 2 months old, that they didn't think that he would survive the first night. But I have a fighting son who must have my fighting spirit, because he did survive. And to this day, he looks after me because of things that I've been through. So again, I don't want to go into it in full detail. I just want to share a little bit about me. So 10 years or almost 10 years later, I married in that time, and I fell pregnant almost 10 years later and had my eldest daughter. And then 5.5 years later, I had my youngest daughter. And in between there, in 2013, my mum passed away. Very sad time. I had got to know my mum. You know, my parents were good working, honest people who would give away anything that they had extra of. We didn't grow up wealthy, but we grew up with enough, and we grew up with everything that we needed. And a lot of that was love. So yeah, so, you know, life goes on. My mum passed away at the age of 87, and I wish that she was still here today, because, you know, the relationship that we had built at the end, or towards the end and years before, was so good to get to know my mum for who she was, and not be the rebellious person that I was. So like I said, life goes on. Anyway, a little bit more, you know, I've owned florist shops, and I had kids, and my ex-husband and I divorced. And, you know, I think again, you sort of start to look at, why is this always happening to me? I had been married and divorced prior to that, didn't have any children to my first husband. And you might be asking, why is she telling me all of this? But I think you really need to get to know a person a little bit. And please, you know, no judgment, because we all go through things in our life. We all make decisions, and we can all look back in hindsight and go, you know what, why the heck did I do that? But I always believe that God had a plan. And like I said, when you're going through that stuff, you don't think anything about God having a plan for you or where you are today. But I have come through. I'm a strong, independent woman who has been through enough in life, even with injuries. I worked in the coal mines. I was injured quite badly in the coal mines, by a excavator bucket coming down very hard on the headboard of my truck, and it put me out in chronic pain for 7 years. But yeah, look, I don't work anymore. That's one of the hardest things that I've had to accept, is that you don't always get those choices that you want. You don't always get what you need. And you have to live sometimes and change the way that you look at things. You need to change the way that, you know, I've never really been a person that says, why is this happening to me? I've always just taken it and move forward with it, you know, look for the positives. Now, I read a fair bit, you know, Facebook. I do a bit of research health-wise and things like that for my own health. I've had open heart surgery back in 2015, where I was cut, and I had a triple bypass. And I had a heart attack this year in May. Everything's good. You know, my heart did its own bypass, and that's by the grace of God and the prayers that came by many people all over the world that prayed for me at that time. I also got bitten by a mosquito last December, and contracted here in Australia what they call Ross River fever, or Ross River virus. It comes with excruciating pain, and I suffered for 5.5 months of really, really horrendous pain where I could barely walk. Painkillers, pain tablets were not even touching the sides, and it was really hard for me at that time. And again, you sort of think, oh my gosh, I've been through so much pain already. Why do I feel like there's more? You know, there's still more. There's still more for me to learn. But I like to look at it and go, what are the lessons here? What do I have to learn? Because we can all sit in the corner and we can all, you know, cry about what we've been through in our lives. But what are the lessons? Because when you turn it around and look at the lessons in life, you really start to look at, perhaps, you know, God is directing me to be a certain way, to have a purpose in my life for others, rather than just thinking about myself. And that's not an easy thing to do, I can tell you that. And one of the things that I read, and I do read, and this is just my opinion, because I have been through so much, is that anybody who tells you to just be positive all the time, please don't buy into that. Positive is something that we choose, absolutely. And we all need to find the goodness, we need to find the strength and things like that. But you went through something, and people need to acknowledge that maybe you're in pain, maybe you're hurting, and maybe you're not really showing that because you know that there's people there not supporting you. You know, some people, again, what I find in life is that many people tend to, uh, let's say, shove it under the carpet. As women, I think we tend to push it down. We don't necessarily want to hear what somebody else is going through because we're going through our own crap, right? So it's hard to listen to somebody else, but believe you me, when you go through this journey and you get stronger and you start to love yourself more, it really is a strength within you that you want to share that with other people. So please don't feel bad about what you're going through. You know, find somebody that you can connect with. Reach out to me if you want to. You know, find somebody. I actually go to counseling, and I have done most of my life, because what I've gone through in my earlier life and some of the things is I need somebody that I can talk with, that's not family or friends, but just somebody to listen, to guide, you know, to be patient with me and be understanding. And sometimes we can't put that pressure on our family or our friends because they're not the ones that are going to be that person of support. So just remember that, reach out, you know, look for counseling in your area, whether you're male or female. Now, I can only talk about the female side of things, but I do know that there are many men out there hurting as well. So please reach out. We went to a Shed Happens, it's called here, a men's club breakfast that they had just recently last week. It's lovely to see that these clubs are growing to support those in need from a male point of view. So it's not just about teaching them how to build things or make things. This one, Shed Happens, actually is what do they call it? You know, reaching out from the heart. So it sort of resonates with myself as well, because I come so much from the heart these days. So I'm here, I'm open to questions. I'd really love you to pop some messages in my YouTube, because I will be putting this on my YouTube. That's where you will see it. And I'd love to hear some messages about, you know, maybe what it is that you would like to hear me talk about. There's so many subjects that I can talk about life's journey, and I'm very raw and I'm very real. So I don't sort of bull around. I don't have any qualifications as far as a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, any of those things. But what I do have is life experience and the things that I have journeyed through to be where I am today. So I'm here opening up to you. I come from a place of love. I come from a place of understanding. I come from a place of being empathetic towards what you're going through. But just remember, you do have a journey, you do have a story, and part of your healing process is to be heard. Because the one thing that I found in my life was that nobody wanted to listen, you know, and part of that is part of the social work or psychologist type work is we don't want to talk to you unless you're ready to change. And it's like, but you don't know that you need to change. So, like I said, life is a journey. God knows your first breath, He knows your last breath. And in between, we call it life. How much of that life we have, who knows? You know, how many people only live a short time? How many people live longer? It's a blessing to get where you are today. And I think each day you should wake up and be grateful for what you do have. Don't don't dwell on the things that you don't have, because you don't know. Life changes in an instant. One day you could have nothing, and the next it could be changed. Now, I do want to talk about my company that I'm with. My business is ONPASSIVE, and you have seen maybe many of my videos. I do them because they help me with my creative side. They help with my anxiety. Yes, I suffer from anxiety and depression, both from the accident in the mines and also from open heart surgery. And I think life in general, I think you'd have to be a very strong person to say that you don't suffer from any form of anxiety, or that life is just a breeze, because it's not these days. And everybody knows that life can be a little bit harder or is harder now than what it was back when we were younger. ONPASSIVE came into my life, and I believe it found me. And it wasn't because I was looking for something online. It wasn't because I was looking for a residual income. In actual fact, I'd tried a few things online. I felt that products that I had maybe been talked into a little bit. There was one company that was health, and I do still take some of the products that I had joined those companies for because of my health. But what I found was that they made a lot of empty promises about, yeah, we'll help you, because Narelle Warcon, she's known on Facebook or whatever, and I have quite a few people that follow me. No big deal to me, because those who resonate with me, fantastic. And I appreciate each and every one of those who are what I call friends, even if only virtually. So I wasn't looking for anything, but I do fundraise for my great niece Mimi, who has cerebral palsy. And you may or may not know this story, but little Mimi, Miss Mimi, we call her, has cerebral palsy. She's 11 years old. She has many treatments to help her walk because she's unable to walk. Cerebral palsy does affect their muscles. It doesn't really affect their brain in any way, and she's able to be schooled in a sense, but her big goal is to be able to one day walk unaided and also run one day and win a race against her dad. Now, that's a huge goal for a little girl to have, and their fundraising has been going on for years now. And thanks to the generosity of many people in their area who gift and fundraise and help towards Mimi's fundraising, they have been able to send Mimi or go with Mimi and fly down to Sydney and a company called Napa, where Mimi has many treatments to help her muscle, strengthening her muscles, and working with machines that help her walk. So ONPASSIVE came into my life when I was fundraising by a friend of mine on Facebook that I've never met before, who reached out to me, Val Astle from New Zealand, and said, "Hey, Narelle, I see that you're fundraising. I'm sorry I'm not able to help at this very point in time. However, I'd really like you to take a look at this." Now, what I saw in the video that I listened to was from a gentleman called Mike Ellis. Mike Ellis is an amazing man in America who spoke about the company of ONPASSIVE and the product that they are bringing forward called OBless. Now, we know that the world needs change, and we know that we have been putting up with, I would say, crappy internet, crappy stuff in all that we do. We open up, I have, sometimes 20 tabs on my computer open during the day, because I do work on a few videos, but you've got Facebook open, or you've got this open, and you got that open, and everything. That it drives you nuts. You have passwords, you have them written down, you have maybe a password. I think there's an app for that holds your passwords in a secure place. But you're sick of making different passwords and things like that. What ONPASSIVE offered me was a platform called OBless that I could raise funds for Mimi, so that her parents didn't have to stress over the monies needed to go down to have those treatments in Sydney. And by the way, those treatments are $10,000 for a 3-week block. So it's not just a couple of $100, it's $10,000, and they go twice a year, and they have other treatments in between for Mimi, but they would like to take her down at least 3 times a year. So that was my reason that I found, or ONPASSIVE found me, but that's what I was looking for, and I saw that. Now, the other thing, coming into ONPASSIVE, I realized that this was going to not only help me, but also help my children as well, financially, because like I said, out there, if you've been online, if you haven't been online, but Facebook, and maybe they won't like me saying this, but we all know it's true. You have posts that go up, people have gone to what they call Facebook jail, people have had posts deleted, they've been told that they can't post or comment for a certain period of time because of something that Facebook doesn't even tell you what it was. How criminal is that? Now, we do have our products, and our free products are otrim, omail, onet. Now, Onet is our social media platform. It's completely different. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. You can do podcasts, blogging. They have certain clubs. So if you're like me, I have one called Stronger Together, because I believe in unity and bringing people together, that we can do things stronger together. But you might like fishing or crocheting or knitting or gardening or things like that, and you can come in and actually make a club. So those people coming into your club are those people who are interested in that particular thing. It could be golf or sport or just cars or anything. There's so much opportunity there. And like I said, you have control over that group. You can put in admins if you want, but it's about sharing your abilities in life. If I was to share how I make videos, or I'm a florist by trade, how I can teach people to do floristry, there's so much in there, and it's all on one platform. So omail, never seen before. I'm just going to run through these quickly. I will come back when I start doing lives, but omail is like a Gmail account. It's like an email platform. The only thing with omail is it's unlimited. It has text to speech. So you don't want to, people can't type all the time. People are busy, driving in their cars. So it can be speech, text to speech. It also has 3-minute videos, and it's unlimited. So you want to send a file to somebody, then you don't have to worry. Remember those files? Look, it happens to me all the time. If I go over a certain size, you can't send it in an email. So that's available. And there's many more options there also available. And very, very tight security. So with ONPASSIVE, you have to remember everybody has to be verified. So when you come into ONPASSIVE as a customer to use these products, you just set up your own omail. Omail, it's called omail.ai, and it's just like an email account, but it's so secure. And all you do is put in your name, a password, your alternate email, which could be your Gmail, Yahoo, or whatever, and you just set it up. That's free of charge for life. And otrim, unless you've got business, but like I love otrim because for my links and different things that I use, I can shorten my links, but it also shows me how to get in and do it shows me, where the people are coming in from who are clicking on my links. And not only that, it tells me also, or shows me in our back office, where these people, what they're using, what browser they're using, what device they're using. And what an asset to any business is that. Look, I've been in business before, and back in the day, a lot of it was before a lot of computers. But these days, everything is done online. There's very little that you don't do online, but we have so many platforms available that everything is going to be one easy login. And it's just so much better than what's out there. So I'm not going to go on any more about that. I think that if you want to ask questions about it, certainly put it in the comments below this video. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I spent a lot of time making my videos, so I've been building my YouTube channel slowly, but I just love to have that interaction with people. So my lives will be that. It will be interaction. It will be if you want to ask questions, and I will give you the answers from my heart about my experiences in life. I'm not going to be telling you what you should or shouldn't be doing, because that's your choice, and we all have those choices. But I can certainly speak from, like I said, my heart and my own experiences in life. Or there might be questions you want to ask me about things that I've been through, or more about ONPASSIVE. So like I said, it's a big story, it's a big life, it's a big journey, and I'm trying to fit it all into one little recording. But I do appreciate your time in listening to this. I do appreciate your friendship, and I will speak to you again real soon. But like I said, please put some comments down below. I really appreciate your support in me opening up to do all of this and bring this to you all, so that we can go on this journey together. So thank you. Love to you all. And I will talk to you again real soon. Bye for now.